Hey, it's Central Valley Business. I'm your host, Steve Walling. My guest for this segment is Jacob Pelley. Welcome to the show, Jacob.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to talk about finances. And we're not talking about nickel and dime stuff, are we, Jacob?
No, we're talking about big things.
Big things. You've got a company.
That's right. JP Marketing.
JP Marketing.
Stock Market Mentorship Marketing.
Okay. Tell me about stock market mentoring.
So most people, they don't understand how to build a retirement or what a retirement is. And in the Valley, we have a desperate need for financial literacy.
I'm going to stop you right there. Financial literacy.
Financial literacy.
Explain that to people.
So it's understanding what a budget is, how the stock market works, what a credit card can actually do to you.
I like that. What it can do to you.
Not
what it can do for you, but what it can do to you if you don't understand it.
That's right.
It's like a slow drip poison for a lot of people.
It is.
Yeah.
I did the research. Most households in the United States are about $8,000 in debt, and they're paying about 17% interest. To pay that off in 1 year, to pay off that debt currently, it would take $778 paid a month for 1 full year just to pay off the debt that almost everyone in the United States is in.
That's a bit much.
That is a bit much.
Makes life a little tough for families, doesn't it?
It does.
And so you've created a company to mentor people in their life, in their financial life, in investing, and in all things finances, basically. What brought you to that? How did you get into that? I mean, it's an interesting field. We all know about stockbrokers, and we know about bankers, and so on and so forth. But to teach people about creating something in their life that makes a better life for them. How'd you get into that, Jacob?
So in 2011, my dad passed away of mesothelioma, which is asbestos cancer.
I know.
And so he passed away, and he left me and my brothers with a little bit of money. Not a lot, but a little bit. And it was enough that if I learned to invest with it wisely, I would never have to really work a normal job again.
Mm-hmm.
I can grow up with my kids. I could take them to the baseball games.
What a concept.
What a concept, right? We were talking about this earlier, but 90% of all people that win the lottery go broke within 5 years.
And that's, that's an amazing stat. The statistic that, because people think, boy, like this big one that happened a couple months or a month or so ago, boy, I get that, and I'm on easy street. But even the big ones, and there's been some big payouts that have been single recipients. You read their stories, and they're tragic.
They're very sad. They're divorced. Their kids are estranged. Their family doesn't talk to them. Suicide rate is really high with them.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be one of those people. I wanted to be a good steward of what was given to me. And so I set out and I got a financial education with it. I actually won the Rich Dad, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki?
Yes.
I won his Hall of Fame award in 2011.
Did you really?
I did. I got to meet him and his wife.
Oh, cool.
And I got a mentor. And since then, I've been doing the stock market for myself. I've been getting a good, healthy financial picture for myself, and
Right.
I'm starting to branch out to help other people do that because there's a serious need in Fresno. Fresno County is my focus. For the past 4 years, I tried to find other people like-minded with me, and I've gone to mixers, I've gone to parties, I've gone to events, and in that 4 years, I've met just a handful of people. So there is a desperate need for what I'm doing here in Fresno.
And what kind of person would have a necessity to having someone fulfill that need in their life?
So they would need someone who's kind of financially sound. They would have to have someone who has a good financial house.
Let me clarify. What kind of person would seek that kind of mentoring that we're talking about here?
Someone who just wants to have a better picture. I mean, can you imagine working a 12-hour day job for 30 years, and then at the end of your term at 30 years, you no longer have anything to look forward to? Can you imagine working for 30 years, missing your family? 12 hours a day, 8 hours a day, you're missing all those big events. You're missing parties. You're missing people growing. And the people that seek that out want to break from that cycle that we're in.
Yeah, and, an 8-hour-a-day job is not an 8-hour day. There's the travel time, there's, prep time before and after, there's that decompression time. Yeah. You come home from work and the kids are going, come on, Mom, come on, Dad, let's go do. And you're going, I got it. And it's tragic.
It's very tragic.
But there are tools that people can put into practice in their life that can change that picture, aren't there?
There are, and they're very basic tools that we should have been taught growing up, and when we weren't, and that's because there was a scarcity in that knowledge. Most people say, well, we blame the school system for it. I don't blame the school system for that. It's on the individual to want to grow that, and it's on their parentage to kind of teach them that. And so,
And well, now that's fine if you got parents that understand that. But a lot of parents were those, parents that, now my generation's a little bit older than yours, but, my parents and the parents of people in my generation, they went to work, they came home, and the deal was, all you had to do, son, was go to college, get your college degree, and your life was set. Well, for a lot of people, that didn't work out. And we fast forward to today, and things are, rather chaotic in so many different areas of life. College education is no harbinger of what's going to happen in your life in the future. There's a lot of people, there's people living on the streets that have college educations, and that's just a sad truth. There's something that is important in order to succeed in life, and that's learning how to use the tools that you're teaching so that you can have a better, greater life, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And they're really basic tools. If you have a basic understanding of 1 + 1 = 2, you can do this. You can figure out how to build a better financial life for yourself. You don't have to be the guy who went to college, who's $200,000 in debt, who got a sociology degree that he can't use anywhere because no one's hiring because 1,000 other people are applying for that job.
Right.
You can be the person that has a financial picture for where you can do what you actually like to do in life.
What a concept.
What a concept, right?
To do what I like.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe have time for my family.
And friends.
Ooh.
You can actually go out and maybe you can go to a ball game for once. And
Really?
not have to worry about, I have to put this on my credit card. And my credit card debt's already really high. You can figure out your financial situation.
You mean take a vacation?
Take a vacation. No longer a stay vacation, but an actual vacation.
Really?
Yeah, maybe actually go see the nice, beautiful 50 states we have in the United States.
What a concept.
What a concept.
Jacob, how old do we got to be to start this? I mean, is there an age that, we should really begin looking at this? Is there an age that we're really beyond having the ability to look at this in a positive way?
I say pretty much my 5-year-old is learning this, and he's grasping the concepts.
Really?
And if my 5-year-old can do it, anyone can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying he's not intelligent. He's very smart, but I'm saying anyone. Basically, if you ever looked at a box of Legos that says age 3 to 99, applies for that too.
Really?
Really.
But, I like that concept because, as parents, maybe we don't have the tools, but we can learn the tools. And if we can take ourselves and learn those tools and then teach them to our children, we give them a really big head start in life, don't we?
Can you imagine what Fresno would be like if we had all the adults teaching their children how to balance a checkbook? Can you imagine the situation we'd be in?
Whoa, balance a checkbook? What's that, right?
Right.
Don't we just, maybe we write in on the register. Maybe we just write checks, right? I mean, as long as I got checks, I got money in the bank, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you imagine? Yeah,
that's awesome. Teaching young people teaching them financial responsibility, that let's create a budget, stay within that budget, set aside some part of that budget for something in the future. That something could be further investment. Years ago, and this may date me a little bit, Jacob, but somebody taught a long time ago when I was in business. They said, I think it was about the age of 18.
Okay.
If you put $40, it was I think it was $40 a month in a compound interest bank account. By the time you were 40 years old, it might have been, it was doable. May have been as much of $100. But if you put it in every single month and you're earning compound interest, by the time you were like 40 years old, you'd have $1 million in the bank. I don't remember exactly the numbers, but it was incredible and it was something that, like I say, was doable for anybody. And interest rates, you could get compounding interest rates at the time. I'm not sure that they're out there today so much, but they were available back then. Think about if people would have done that then, where society would be today. I'm impressed by what you're doing, and I think it's a great service. And I think more people need to be aware of just the things that you're teaching and offering, not only for themselves but for their children. For what they can do. And you just decided to get into it so that you could learn for yourself, and then you looked around and saw that there was kind of a need here, and you decided to provide something for that need. What a concept!
I'm just doing this better. I'm here to better my fellow man.
Yeah.
I was given a gift. Why can I give my gift to my fellow man too?
Okay. So I've watched you here. I like what you're saying. How do I, what is it, the process that I'm going to go through? One, how do I get a hold of Jacob? And where does it go from there? I either through the internet or I pick up the phone. How do I get a hold of you? And then what do we do from that point?
So I have an email address you can email me at. I believe I put it there at the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
There's a website. There's also a phone number if you need to call me.
What's the website?
Website is wallstreet.io.
Okay.
I'm also on Twitter. You can Jake_Pelley.
Okay.
I have an email address. It's
Okay.
jacobpelley30@gmail.com.
Okay.
I know, really difficult email address.
Yeah, all right.
And my phone number is 559-392-3543.
Okay, so now I've gotten a hold of you. What happens now?
So what happens is I'll meet with an individual and we'll sit down and we'll talk about what they know and what they don't know.
Okay.
Just a small picture. We'll figure out, do they have a budget? Do they understand the stock market? Do they understand the real estate market?
Mm-hmm.
What are their goals? And then we'll sit down, we'll talk to their goals, and then from there I'll mentor them on where they want to go
I
from
want
there.
to stop you here. You mentioned goals. Why are goals important?
Goals are important because they foster growth. It gives people something to work towards.
Gives you a target.
It gives you a target.
Cool.
Yeah.
And you can measure yourself where you're at to where it is that you want to be with that.
And they're easy targets to kind of meet too.
Really?
Yeah, you can start a retirement plan with $10 a month. You can start with $5 a month. You can change your financial situation, and as you said, it compounds.
Mm-hmm.
$5 that yields 1% a month will now be 5.1 next month.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we go from there.
Cool. And you can still get compound interest out there, huh?
Yep, you still can get compounding interest, though it's not as good as it used to be.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So before we started today, I asked you a little bit. Well, how do you see the economy right now? With what you know, where are we going?
So the economy is a little bit overdue for a correction, and it's not because the economy's not strong. Unemployment's down to record low levels if you use the Federal Reserve's unemployment metric.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why the economy might be coming down is since 2008, we've had lower interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had a lot of easy money policies, and that's finally coming to an end. And so that means interest rates are going to go up, the cost of borrowing is going to go up. That means the cost of buying goods are going to go up. So eventually you're going to see a contraction because of that.
Okay. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, is it?
No, they're healthy. Contractions are healthy for the economy because it shakes out a lot of the fluff that needed to be shaken out.
Okay.
And then once we get the contraction, we can grow again.
Cool.
If you look at the housing market from 2008 to now, we had the big correction in 2008. Housing is now 30% higher than it was then.
Yeah.
So something to think about.
Yeah, it is. It's not a bad investment if you can work it either.
Yeah, it's not a bad investment.
Good. Now, before we go, Jacob, and I appreciate that we spent time talking about finances and stuff, but there's a book sitting on the table. There's a poster behind me. Let's talk about that real quick in the closing segments. What is this book and what is the poster? What's it about? Where are you at in your journey with this?
So my goal is to make a movie here in Fresno, and I couldn't find any author willing to let me work with what they have, and so I said, I'm a pretty creative guy. So I spent 3 years and I wrote this book here, and the goal is to one day make a movie of it here in town in Fresno. It's a young adult sci-fi. It's family friendly. It's clean. There's no cursing. You can give it to a 10-year-old and they'll be okay with it. Mind you, there's a scary part, one or two in there, but
Right.
for the most part, you can give it to a 10-year-old and they won't have to ask you any really hard questions.
Yeah, anything that's going to make you sweat as a parent, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And so I did it because I really love being creative.
Yeah.
And so this was kind of a passion project, and it took me about 3 years to do, and I have a partner that helped me do it. Don't get me wrong. I struggled with writing my whole life, and so I said, I don't have to do this alone, and so I got someone who was I call him a tactile wordsmith, someone that can forge words better than I can.
You give him the ideas and the concepts, and he helps put it into a word format, huh?
Yep, and she did a great job of it.
Oh, very good. When was this published?
This was published in June 26th of this year.
Oh, so this is kind of fresh off the press, as they say.
It is.
And we're looking to the Wanderer's Curse. Now, without giving much away, real quick, give me the short version of what we're looking at with this.
So it's a post-apocalyptic dystopian world. and it follows the journey of two people that just pretty much came of age, pretty much graduated high school in this term,
Okay.
and they're chosen to be a wanderer, which is the pariah of the town they're in.
Okay. The Wanderer's Curse. Cool. And it is available Amazon?
Amazon, Google, iBooks, everywhere books are sold, you can get it.
Everywhere books. Okay. You know, I got to tell you, science fiction is great for young people. It helps to create an imagination, creativeness, and something like this in today's market is probably a really good thing. And I know a little bit more about the story, and I'd highly recommend it. But I can hardly wait for the movie to come out. So we're going to have a movie on this, right?
And it's going to be from people from Fresno. So if you're looking to help, I mean,
there you go.
It's going to be about the valley.
Okay. Sounds good. How do we get a hold of you for this? Same thing? Same places?
Same places.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, Jacob, thanks for being on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
As this begins to unfold, I want you to come back. We won't talk about it more. And I definitely want you on right at the time that it's going to make its preview, right?
I'd love to be back.
Okay, good deal. Thanks. Come back and talk about the economy, too. It's always good, and it's good for our people to know.
I'd love to do so.
Good deal. And I'll see you when we come back. But you may want to think about your retirement, the future, and what Jacob Pelley can do for you. See ya.
CentralValleyTalk.com